Welcome back to new session. This is continuation of chapter 2, the environment in which project operates. In this session, you will learn about organizational structures. What is organizational structure? It defines a hierarchy within an organization, identifies its job, its function, and where it reports to. It also determines how information flows within the organization across various departments. It defines how the organization is built and influences power for the project manager. The immediate question comes to your mind is who defined this structure and based upon what? In last session, we discussed organizational systems and you learned that strategy and capabilities help organization to design structure and processes. What are the factors to be considered in selecting organizational structure? Alignment with organizational objectives, specialization capabilities, span of control, efficiency and effectiveness, clear escalation path, clear line and scope of authority, delegation capabilities, accountability. Responsibility, adaptability of a design, simplicity of a design, efficiency of a performance, cost consideration, physical location, clear communication. So there are lots and lots of factors that help organization to decide what kind of organizational structure should be. Let's look at what are the various organizational structure types. We have organic and simple, functional, multidivisional, weak matrix, balanced matrix, strong matrix, project-oriented organizational structure, virtual, hybrid, PMO structure. Remember, questions are mostly related to project manager's authority and also related to advantages, disadvantage of each type of organization structure. Organic or simple organizational structure. So in this case, work groups within organizations are flexible. People work alongside each other irrespective of their position. Honor is in charge of the budget or most of the things, most of the decisions are directly taken by honor. This culture is generally found in startup companies or small companies. So work group within organizations are flexible. People work side by side regardless of their roles and their responsibilities within the organization. Project manager may have little or no authority, especially over the budget and resources. PM has a part-time role. He may or may not designated job role like coordinator. There are little or no resources dedicated to project. The resource will be shared or borrowed from other teams. Most of the time, owner of the organization will be in charge of a project budget and he will make all budgetary decisions. And as mentioned earlier, there are no dedicated resources on the project, so there will be no administrative staff to help the project manager. Functional organization, a centralized organizational structure. The organization is grouped in various departments like sales, marketing, etc. They are also called as centralized organization. This is found in most of the traditional organization, engineering companies, manufacturing, government entities. Department executes their own project. So work group arranged by specialized department, people with similar skills are kept together, for example, engineering, manufacturing. There is a clear division of business unit and clear division of work. Project manager may have little or no authority. Project manager has a part-time role. He may or may not be a designated job role like coordinator. In general, one of the senior resource within that department takes up this role for a specific project. Of course, he reports to functional manager. There are little or no resources dedicated to the project. The resources will be shared and borrowed from within or other department. At the end of project, resources are back to their home. Functional manager will manage the project budget. You may get part-time assignment, you may get a part-time assistant to manage the project. Multidivisional organizational structure. This is very much similar to functional organization. It may replicate functions for each division within that organization. So multiple division at multiple locations, maybe divisions can be region based, product based or technology based. It is a little centralized compared to functional. Work group arranged by product or production processes, for example, chocolate, juice, or frozen food. It may be arranged by portfolio and or by program. For example, in construction company, division may be based upon housing project, road construction project. Geographic region-based division may be there. Company may divide based upon region, for example, India-specific, MENA region, Europe. It can be based upon customer type, for example, in bank, personal customer, SME business, large business, etc. Project manager may have little or no authority. Project manager has a part-time role. There are little or no resources dedicated to the project. Functional manager will manage the overall project budget, and you as a project manager may get part-time assistant to manage or to help your project. Project-oriented. Project manager has a full authority to assign priorities, apply resources, and direct the work of person assigned to the project. So in this case, project manager has a full control over the project. Team works only on the project work. Work group are arranged by project, means employees are grouped by activities on the project or the nature of a project. Resources may or may not be co-located. Project manager has high to almost total authority, power over all other resources, budget, so everything is with the project manager. In simple terms, he has a high level of autonomy over the project. Project manager has a full-time role. There will be dedicated resources on the project. Some resources will be taken from other department, but project manager will have a high to almost total control over the resources. Project manager will manage the project budget. Project manager will have a full-time administrative staff to manage the project. Now this is the best possible scenario for a project manager. Project can be completed faster. This kind of a structure are temporary and set up. This is a temporary setup, and this is done by keeping certain objectives in mind. For example, new offices getting set up in a MENA region, and this project has to be strictly completed within next 6 months as per organization strategy. So organization will empower project manager with all authority and all the decision making capabilities so that he can make this happen within the 6 months. Of course, the drawback is resources have no home to report back. They will be released from the job at the end of project. Matrix organization structure. It brings together employees and managers from different departments to work towards accomplishing a common goal. It is a combination of functional and projectized structure. You may have a specialized project management department with people experienced in the field of a project management. As you can see in the diagram, you have a traditional functional department, sales, marketing, and manufacturing, and you have a department called as project management department where all the project manager belongs. They use the resources from other departments to work with them to accomplish the project goal. There are 3 types of matrix: strong matrix, weak matrix, and balanced matrix. Project manager will have authority over administrative work, for example, what to do, follow-ups, performance evaluation, etc., etc. Functional manager may look after functional part of the project. For example, he will decide how to do the work, technical work, distribute the project work to the technical team. Challenges are employee reports to 2 bosses, and it is challenging for team members because of confusing roles and need to report to 2 bosses. Let's take a look at some more detail into each types of a matrix organization. So first we have strong matrix. So it has a many characteristic of a projectized organization, full-time project manager with considerable authority. So let's look at all the elements one by one. Work group arranged by job function, where project management is considered as a function. Project manager has a moderate to high authority. Project management, PM has a full-time job role. There will be dedicated resources on the project which are controlled by project manager. Some of the resources will be taken from other department, hence responsibility is shared with the functional manager. Project manager will manage the project budget. Project manager will have a full-time administrative staff to manage the project activities. This is second best possible scenario for a project manager. Drawback is resources that were hired by PM for the project work will not have a home to report back once the project is finished and they are released from the project. Weak matrix. It has all the characteristics of a functional organization. Work group arranged by job functions, for example, manufacturing, engineering. Project manager has a low authority. He acts as a coordinator or expediter. Project manager has a part-time role. So his main role is another job role like manufacturing engineer, engineer. Low control over the resources. Functional manager manages the project budget. So you can understand in weak matrix, functional manager has the highest authority. A project manager may have a part-time administrative staff to manage the project activities. Drawback is project will be always secondary. Resources will always focus on their operational work, which is their bread and butter. Traditional functional organization who start thinking about project management as a discipline and in process of setting up the project management department are example of a weak matrix. So they are basically progressing from weak matrix towards the next, that is a balanced matrix. Balanced matrix. It is a combination of functional and projectized structure. Project manager is a skill embedded in a job function. Work group arranged by a job function, again like manufacturing, engineering. Project manager has a low to moderate authority. Project manager has a part-time role as a part of another job like manufacturing, engineering. So he might be engineer, but part-time he is doing project management. Low to moderate control over the resources. Project budget is managed jointly between project manager and functional manager. And project manager may have a part-time administrative staff to manage some of the project management activity. This is most suitable and realistic approach to manage projects in today's complex organizational structure, where there is expertise of functional manager and the resources alongside dedicated project management team. So both works together to achieve project's goal. Let's summarize the matrix organization. So we have three of them: strong matrix, which is tilted towards the projectize, which is similar to projectize. Then we have weak matrix, which is tilted towards the functional. So here functional manager has a higher role and there is no job role called as project manager. So it's just acting role. And balanced matrix, it is between both projectized and functional. And in this case, both project manager and functional manager shares the authority and accountability. Virtual organization structure. The central organization is connected to outside firms via internet. So this is a new kind of organizational structure where internet plays a very critical role. The outside firm can be a vendor, a client, or associate. This structure helps organization achieve corporate growth and make a greater profit. Many experts call this also as a virtual corporation. In a network structure, the organization keeps its core business to itself, while rest of the processes are outsourced. Point of contact represent different departments. Here the project manager has a low to moderate authority. Project manager may have full-time or part-time role. Low to moderate control over the resources, mixed control over the project budget, and may or may not have a full-time team reporting to him. One of the one of the major challenge of virtual organization is a communication itself. As you know, face-to-face communication is always the best form of communication, but in a virtual world, so there is no face-to-face direct communication. Of course, there will be video conferencing and other communication technologies will be used. Hybrid organization structure. True to its name, this structure may use any combination of organization structures. So these are generally used for special projects. In this case, work group is a mixed type. Authority, responsibility, and other factors like resources and budget are also mixed depending on the structure. So in simple words, you can say everything is of a mixed type. Project manager has a power which is unique to the kind of a structure that has been developed. PMO organization structure. So this is the last one in our list. PMO is also mixed organization structure. Project manager have the highest authority. He has a full-time designated job role as a project manager. They have a full-time team reporting to them, and project manager controls the overall budget. And project manager will have a full-time administrative staff to support project management activity. It is almost like a project-oriented organization structure. Let's do a quick recap of this session. In this session, you learned about various organizational structures. So we'll just list them out. We talked about organic and simple structure, functional, multidivisional, weak matrix, balanced matrix, strong matrix, project-oriented structure, virtual structure, hybrid, and PMO structure. Great job. You are at the end of second chapter. Let's do a quick recap of entire chapter. In this chapter, you learned how projects are influenced, what are the different factors which can influence the project, major organizational influences like organizational culture, organizational structure. We talked about what are the different enterprise environmental factors. You can have internal EEF as well as external enterprise environmental factor. Then we talked about organizational process assets, where you have processes, policies, and procedures, as well as organizational knowledge repositories. Then we talked about organizational system and organizational structure. I hope you are enjoying the course. Feel free to ask your questions. It is very important to consistently watch these videos. Gaps are distractions and will increase your preparation time. Good luck. See you in next session.